Hello everyone and welcome once again. I am HollywoodBigBoss and this time I'm here with the greatest female duelist in PDL history, KeiyarlaDraga. Good to have you here.
Thanks.
Anyway, let's just start off with the basics. What got you involved with dueling to start with?
Well, it was when I first saw the series basically.
And that just got you interested in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you first started collecting cards and everything, what was your favorite card out of curiosity?
It's still has to be the Dark Magician.
Ah.
Yeah.
And now, even after all this time, what is your favorite card?
Still the Dark Magician.
So it hasn't changed this whole time.
Pretty much, but I also got favorites in like spells and traps.
Anyway, after you really started to get cards and such, what kind of deck did you at first start to build and such?
At first I didn't really know what to do, so I just had the very first starter deck.
So you just used that as your deck?
Yeah.
Did you really duel against anyone at all, or?
My brother, we just at the time the rules were so confusing and we were
just couldn't get a grasp on the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, aside from when you started out and such, what was your opinion of when you saw other people dueling in the high school and such?
I really don't remember.
Don't remember too much?
No.
You just started bringing in your cards, though, one time.
Mm-hmm.
And you signed up for PDL shortly after. Because your deck at the time really was
crappish.
A basket case and then some. It was a train wreck. There's no good way to put how your deck was at that time. It was just bad. Now, before you had signed up in PDL, one of your former friends, who went by the codename of Chris, anyway, she had already won the Livingston County Championship in the first Extreme Elimination, albeit it was a four-way tie for the title. So she really got the first stand as a female duelist in PDL, but literally did nothing after that. But what was your opinion of her getting that title? Nothing?
Nothing, yeah.
But anyway, as time progressed and everything, what was your experiences after I had left the high school? Were the duels still going on, or how'd that happen?
I really don't know, because I know it was still going yet. At the time they basically won't give me a try, so I just decided to at the time just quit dueling for a while, and when I
because pretty much they just shut you out completely, didn't want anything to do with you and such.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, as you know, in 2006, the Knights of Pontiac and the Pontiac Duelist League were really more or less at odds with each other. You were on the Knights of Pontiac side with Mantis, your brother, the Raven, Chris, and then Pyrus Wolfbane. And what was your opinion on literally the Knights of Pontiac getting all 6 of their championships taken away from them by Dazankic?
I
didn't really have an opinion on that either?
Nope.
But anyway, what do you think was the main point as far as the Knights of Pontiac failure in 06 and 05? What caused them to go down?
What? I don't know.
You don't really have an idea? I think the main reason was that Mantis's leadership didn't really mesh with the other people, and it pretty much fell apart. Everyone else signed up for PDL, which worked to our strength because we proved that we were capable of taking out a competing league of duelists and showed that we were serious. Now, moving on past the high school point, your brother and myself had one heck of a disagreement at the beginning of 2008, and things were really, really bad between us. About as bad as things were between myself and Mantis when I left the high school. We absolutely hated each other with a passion and then some. But, as you know, we ran into each other one day and just decided to say our apologies, and that's how it worked. And what was your opinion of finally getting back into dueling after all this time?
Well, when I wasn't dueling, I was just like bored out of my mind, and I just wanted to get back because I have like my old deck laying around and some cards.
And as you know, the deck when you first came back into PDL was a basket case.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanted to kind of go with the Elemental Hero theme with your deck as well.
Mm-hmm.
But before then, mere few weeks before then actually, Sigma V had sold me every single one of his cards for $50. Now, I had a couple options at this point. I could either sell them off card by card, which would have taken forever, and I would have made some profit off of it, or I could have done what I did, which was literally just say, here's the cards, take what you need, and build your deck. And what was your opinion of me, even though I had paid so much money for everything that I had there, just literally letting you, Mantis, Raven, and Anubis have your pick of the whole thing?
I thought it was like cool because if you can basically take a whole bunch of cards that the other duelist probably needs, like a couple of them, and like for like a deck, and just like
trade the rest.
Yeah, and like if they really, let's say if they really need like this card that
you
completed that you happen to got in like a pile of cards, you can basically screw them over, like deck-wise.
Or make a really good trade in the same process as well, which is smart. But anyway, after I had let you have your pick of the cards, we went to building your decks and everything, and when I gave everyone a choice of which Egyptian god card they wanted, you picked Slifer the Sky Dragon. Would you like to give some reason why you picked that particular one for your deck?
Well, for me, I'm not one to go like with raw power, like with Obelisk, and at times I would think that Ra's abilities can get a little overpowering and can be a little, you could say, hectic at times. And I just like Slifer's ability because it's just like his main abilities are just like two that is like short and to the point.
Yeah. Whenever your opponent special summons a monster with 2,000 attack or less, it's immediately destroyed, which is a big, big advantage, because there's a lot of weak monsters that can be taken out with that effect. Number two is that for each card in your hand it gains 1,000 attack, and your deck at times, you have a lot of cards in your hand. So it's very beneficial to your deck, and you made a very wise choice with that. But anyway, immediately upon yourself, the Raven, and Mantis getting back into PDL, you pretty much immediately reformed the Knights of Pontiac right then and there as a faction within PDL instead of a competing Duelist League. And what were your thoughts on that?
I hate to admit it, but I haven't really
got an opinion. You just went along with how Mantis and the Raven were doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, they did an impressive job with their way of business. Now, as you know, your brother, when he came into PDL, he pretty much declared himself the new hardcore champion in PDL. And what was your opinion on your brother just blatantly doing that?
Well, I would think that basically to call yourself the hardcore champion, you have to like earn it, and having to like to defend it like so many times. And
but anyway, getting back to the subject of your brother calling himself hardcore champion, did it really surprise you that he decided to do that?
No, not really. Living with him, it's something you would like expect him to do.
Because he's a huge ECW fan and such. So, hardcore title equals he wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at that point, I had decided to retire the title and never use it again. However, because he was so thorough with him wanting that title, I told him, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to duel me. If you win, you have the hardcore title. You can use it. as you see fit. You're the champ. If you lose, you don't get jack. And this was before he had really gotten his hands on all those cards. I had done some tweaking to his deck and such. He beat me. He won. Did it surprise you that he was able to do that with his deck in the condition that it was in for the most part?
Somewhat. Yeah.
Because I got the worst hand in dueling history possibly, and he just went for the throat. He didn't hold back, and that was his real strength in that one. And it was a smart idea, being able to capitalize like that. And as you know, your brother held the hardcore title for 167 days. What was your opinion on him becoming the longest reigning hardcore champion in our history?
Well, I was surprised because I would thought that he would lose it within a couple weeks or a couple of days,
or even minutes.
Or minutes, yeah.
But he managed to stay in the game and fought through everything. But did it really surprise you that your brother, within a week of signing up for PDL, had won a title?
Yeah.
And what was your reason for that, aside from his deck still being a basket case?
At times he would not think things through, and he would use a card and then totally screw everything
strategy
up. Yeah.
But at other times he's proved to be intelligent and everything. And as you know, your brother, as he was hardcore champion, he had a custom hardcore championship that he carried around and such, which has been since burned and destroyed. But anyway, getting on to the next subject, the Knights of Pontiac had their first real test in a 3-on-3 duel. Yourself, Mantis, and the Raven against myself, Lord Anubis, and the Executioner. Now, as you know, the Executioner has ended no less than 2 people's careers. And what were your thoughts going into that duel against the 3 strongest duelists at the time in PDL?
That one was better should win. Or, well, at the time, and I basically wanted to win.
You wanted to win.
Yeah, every duelist want to, but...
But at the same time, with the odds that you were facing, was there any doubt in your mind that you were like, oh my god, we are screwed? Was there any?
Somewhere back there, yeah.
But it wasn't at the front of your mind. You were wanting to take us out and show that you were really ready for this. And you did just that thanks to Judgment of Anubis. You literally saved your team from getting slaughtered like cattle by doing that. And what was your opinion on being able to capitalize on that kind of mistake that we had made?
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, and...
Look at it from this perspective, too. Anubis is possibly the most powerful duelist in PDL with that Creator of Light deck he has. He puts myself and the Executioner to shame when it comes to just raw power. He'll go for the throat and just leave you there dead. Myself, I'm more of a tactician. I wait for the cards to get on the field, then I go for the throat. And the Executioner, he will just bleed you dry the entire duel. And as you know, you were facing the 3 most decorated duelists in PDL history. And what was your opinion on getting a win over such an amazing force?
Well, I was surprised and...
Now, another thing that happened in PDL, which was rather amazing as well, is that Mantis finally did what it took him 4 years to do. He won the Pontiac Duelist League World Championship. What was your opinion on him finally being able to do that and becoming the last first-generation Grand Slam champion and Triple Crown champion?
Well, okay, let me think of this. I thought it was great that he finally been able to
get the titles.
Win it, yeah.
Because he was the only person eligible still to get that honor, the first generation Grand Slam, and it took him 4 years to do it because he kept getting held down. The main reasons is that number one, him and me didn't really mesh that well, so we were at each other's throats at times, and I didn't really give him the opportunities to do so. Which, looking back at now, seeing as how our relationship has changed from being more or less bitter enemies to friends, well, I can kind of see how I shortchanged him. And number two, Sigma V's dislike for him was also another factor, because we both went along with each other. We didn't like how he was trying to do things at the time, and the cards were not just in his favor. But him finally getting the world title was a huge step for the Knights of Pontiac. And I think it was just shortly before that that you had won the New World Organization Championship, and you had done so by yourself. As you know, Chris had held the title and with 3 other duelists, and her reign is disputed. But you did what no other female duelist in PDL had done. You held a championship by yourself. What was your opinion on that?
I thought that I did something that
was really creditable.
Really, yeah.
I mean, no one else had done that who was a girl. I had given them shots, but they never were able to capitalize. Some of them were crushed pretty badly, I must say. And so far, I'm referencing the title history just to see something. You have held the title 7 times so far, which is not too bad considering your history in PDL. But what came even more amazing was that when Mantis had gotten hold of the PDL title once again, you challenged him and won the world title. What was your thought on winning the big one, getting the top tier championship?
Well,
because Mantis, as you know, he has the Wicked Avatar in his deck, and he also has Obelisk in his deck. He, at the time, didn't have the Earthbound Immortals, but he had one heck of a force of a deck to get through, and you actually did it with your elemental heroes. So what was your opinion on actually getting your hands on the title?
Like any duelist would, like, yay type thing.
And you held it for 31 days, which was a pretty solid reign. I mean, holding a title for a month these days is very, very hard, because the title matches happen so often, unlike in the high school. High school, it was title match every 2 weeks, and that was it. Now we've gone back to that for the world title for the most part. Every other title is defended every week. Hardcore title can be defended outside events even. But the world title still changes hands a lot. And for you to hold it that long was pretty good. But anyway, moving on, your brother ended up losing the hardcore title to Mantis after holding it as long as he did. What was your opinion on that?
Well, I think he should have let it all go to his head, because when you're trying to duel and you like, oh, I'm going to win this because I held the title such as so days, you tend to like get a little distracted and tend to play a little.
Your brother's main distraction happened when he forgot how many life points he had left with that hardcore title. As you know, Lord Anubis writes us down and such. That's no problem. Your brother didn't, and he had been in football and such, so he had made a lot of the events, and he had been defending the title outside of the events, because we had made an agreement on that. He had forgotten how many life points he had left, making him a prime target for Mantis to take advantage of that. And as you know, if a hardcore champion forgets what life points they're at, they go back to the default 8,000. And that's how he was able to get the title from him. So what was your opinion on your brother forgetting his life points?
I wasn't surprised.
But anyway, your brother forgot his life points, so you weren't too surprised over that, though.
No, not really.
But it wasn't too long after that that you actually got your hands on the hardcore title, making you a Triple Crown champion and the only female Triple Crown champion in PDL. So how was that?
I liked it, but I tend to get a little stressed out when it comes to that particular title, especially when you have like 100 life points, because you can get like wiped out. And
yeah, someone challenges you, you have to accept.
Yeah.
You don't really have a choice unless like it's time to leave or something like that. Then it'll be scheduled for next time. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. As you know, your brother actually was able to capitalize as well and win the world title. What was your opinion on that?
I don't know. Sometimes I would be surprised when he wins certain things, but at other times I'm like, oh, you won.
But anyway,
yeah.
One thing which I found interesting is how that Mantis how far he's come, aside from you and your brother, because he used to use a stack of cards about this high and call it a deck and duel with it. Because you remember that in high school, and what was your opinion on him trying to use that outrageous of a deck?
Well, if you could do it, do it, but...
But as you know, PDL's had a 60-card deck limit, which Konami has actually in place as of recent, and making the limit on decks. Because, yeah, having a deck that big doesn't really work. But he had came along since then. He had a smaller deck, which we all worked with. And he was pretty much the only one out of you three who had a deck that was even noteworthy. Him, I didn't have to do much modification to. I let him do his own devices, and he's building pretty damn good decks. Granted, he just doesn't have a lot of the staple cards to build a deck. You and your brother's decks, I don't know what I would call those exactly, like you said. But I more or less left you to your own devices on the monsters. The spells and traps I helped you pick out and everything, and you were able to make very, very good decks for the cards you had. Especially with that Elemental Absorber card, where you remove from play a card, and that attribute can attack, which is very good for your deck strategy. But to move on, another thing happened that was pretty surprising in PDL, and that was Extreme Elimination 8. Your brother did what no other duelist could do in PDL history, and that was win in Extreme Elimination. Because up until then, the past 7, I had been on the winning side of all of them. Granted, a couple of them had been tag team duels, and I had been eliminated in a few of those, but because I was on the team, I still won. But what was it like knowing that your brother had done what no one else in history had, and won in Extreme Elimination, knocking me off completely?
Well, I was extremely shocked because I thought he just pulled a win out of his butt. But
I mean, he eliminated you. He eliminated the Executioner, myself. It was surprising, to say the least. I was even in shock, because I didn't know what to say. I mean, it is a duel that I had completely done well in, more so than anyone else. Hell, I had the prime entry number to get in, and it didn't do anything for me. Not that time around. But then we came to the tag team duel, which was quite interesting. You and your brother tag teamed against myself and the Executioner, who had held the tag team title since we won them on the 29th of March in 2009. It was our big title defense. And what was your opinion on the duel completely ending in a clusterfuck, with you and your brother being eliminated, but Mantis and Anubis and myself and the Executioner essentially being in a draw situation against each other? What was your opinion on that?
Well, when it comes to tag teams, me and my brother were tend to get into like a disagreement, because he would want to use like his card destruction. Yeah, he would like just think of it, and he would like totally forget that I'm his partner, and totally,
you have the cards in your hand that you need.
That I need, and totally screw up my strategy that I'm currently
trying to build on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what causes friction between you two as a tag team. And generally, he's the one who gets eliminated first in the tag team duels. But anyway, what was your opinion on the Knights of Pontiac being given their own tag team title as a result? The tag team title became disputed as of that date. Myself and the Executioner kept the PDL tag team title. They were awarded the Knights of Pontiac tag team title, which was formerly the RDL tag team title. What was your opinion on that?
Well, I thought it was great that we actually get our own title thing.
And it was pretty good. Anubis and I had discussed it, and seeing as there was no clear winner, and we decided to have a unification match later on. And as you know, both titles are currently up for grabs. A week after the extreme elimination situation, though, we had another shocker. The Raven was originally intending to burn the old PDL Hardcore title, with Mantis and myself there. However, I talked him out of burning the PDL one and told him to destroy the RDL one, which he decided to do. Immediately afterwards, yourself and Mantis showed up at my house, but your brother didn't for some reason, which I still haven't figured out yet. But anyway, I had unveiled that the Knights of Pontiac were getting a title of their own aside from just the tag team titles. They were getting the Knights of Pontiac Hardcore Championship, which was the PDL Hardcore title being renamed after your faction for all the work you had done and for everything that you had given PDL. What was your opinion on being a part in that historic duel?
I thought it was fun.
I thought you did pretty good myself, too.
Yeah.
That duel is still on YouTube being shown. But anyway, the Knights of Pontiac being given their own official title was pretty amazing. Wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Anyway, Mantis won that one, and he has been a pretty dominant hardcore champion until Lord Anubis won it on January 6th and still has his clutches in it. Now, does it surprise you that Mantis and Anubis work as well as they do as a tag team?
Pretty much, yeah. I thought
because they're kind of at each other's throats a bit.
I thought they would be more dysfunctional than me and my brother at times.
You two teams are probably the most dysfunctional teams in our history. I mean, there's no way putting it past it. I mean, you and your brother's strategies constantly clash. Anubis and Mantis clash mentally, and however, myself and the Executioner just seem to be streamlined as a tag team. We're the only ones who are arguing with each other. We each have everything talked out and are ready to go. But aside from that, what was your opinion on winning the Money in the Bank duel, which gave you a title match contract anytime, any place? What was your opinion on that?
I liked it because I know that I could take advantage of someone like trying to do something and
get the title off of them.
Yeah, and going in for like the kill and.
However, I just remembered during the course of Extreme Elimination 8, you walked away with the hardcore title because you got third place. So that was another good mark on your history. But aside from that, going into 2010, you were able to cash in your Money in the Bank on me and take the world title off me, getting your third reign. What was your opinion on
that? Nothing really.
Granted, your title reign wasn't as long as your first one, but it was still impressive that you were able to think it through, cash in when I was at my weakest, and then just steamroll me, taking the title. Now, going into more or less the now, your brother has debuted his own personal title, the Fuck the World title. And what's your opinion on that?
I thought it was funny, and I saw it but I think that it fits Josh.
With his personality. Yeah. However, I should note at this point, the FTW title is not a sanctioned title in PDL. It is not sanctioned. But aside from that, what is your opinion on the future of the... Anyway, go ahead with the answer.
Well, I want, for the Knights of Pontiac, I thinking we could do, great things, and for me, I will try to do as long as I can without,
And do you think that you and the Raven will finally get a tag team title reign in the near future?
I'm hoping, even though I probably would have to, fight by myself at the end.
Don't forget, the Executioner won the tag team title by himself. I had been eliminated, and he took out Sigma V and Kappa W single-handedly. So, it's doable. It's not impossible. But if you and your brother are in the zone, you can do it. Which I'm looking forward to in the near future. Anyway, is there anything that you'd like to close this with today?
Anybody watching this, females can freaking duel, so, yeah.
Anyway, this has been possibly the greatest female duelist to rise up in the ranks in PDL history. Triple Crown Champion, KeiyarlaDraga. very, very happy to have you with me today.